Okay, today my guest is Liz Tobin, and Liz is an expert on meditation, and she's the founder of Calm at Work. I've been following Liz for a while on Instagram, and she is beautiful and
Oh,
calming,
thank you.
and she gives such beautiful meditations and, just pops up on my Instagram with these gorgeous meditations that I thought she might be able to help some of us going through grief. So, hello, Liz.
Hello, Kate. Thank you for that beautiful introduction. It's really fun to be here today.
Oh,
So I'm looking forward to sort of diving into meditation and its relationship with grief. And hopefully some of
yeah,
the listeners will resonate with some of my learnings and my experience of
yeah.
meditation.
So, tell me, how did you even get into it?
Yeah, so my background is I'm an occupational therapist and worked in workplace mental health and still do that. But
Oh,
I was finding that I was going out and telling people they should meditate. And part of me felt like a bit of a fraud because I didn't actually meditate myself. So, really, out of the need to think, oh, I better up my professional development, I started learning more about meditation. But I very quickly became hooked. And I had a few close friends who meditate very, very regularly. And they have this sort of really calm energy about them. And so I started digging into it. And as I said, very quickly, I was like, oh, things that normally really stressed me or worried me didn't seem to have the same level of intensity. And that was about 8 years ago that I started really consciously meditating. My practice is based on transcendental meditation, where you meditate twice a day for 20 minutes, but then weaving that into busy lives because everyone has really busy lives and got more and more curious about that. And that's sort of where it started. And in learning about it, I also went, hang on, I think I've been meditating without calling it meditation, not in a ritual, a regular way, but when things went pear shaped, when I felt overwhelmed, I do facilitation. I realised I always do a little mindfulness practice before I launch into things. So it started a really lovely new space for me to learn, to have amazing conversations, and just be really curious about meditation. So
yeah.
that's where it sort of started. And then I went and did my teacher training.
Right. So you've got to train to be a teacher of meditation.
Oh, I
That,
don't, it's probably more. I don't think so. But what the transcendental meditation, it's encouraged that you train. But I think there's lots of ways we can meditate just by thinking I need space for myself, and the benefits of it really complemented my professional work in preventative mental health, but it also really complemented my personal life as well. And that for me, that was the hook, was my personal life,
yeah,
that, that really drew me in very quickly. So,
right.
yeah.
So how were you meditating without knowing that you were meditating until you were curious about
Yeah, so
meditation?
it's such a good question, Kate. So, as long as I can remember, since my very first job in the local pharmacy, I would find that when I had my lunch breaks, or my tea breaks, I would go and find quiet time. And I'm not someone who gets really overwhelmed. I'm an extrovert, so being with people, that doesn't bother me. But I would find that I'd need to go and just almost calm my nervous system.
Oh,
And if I reflect on it, this has been a thread for me for every job I've ever had, everything across my professional life, where at lunchtimes I would choose to go for a walk, even if it was 10 minutes and then lunch for 20 minutes with people. I would always need this slice of time that allowed my brain to just be quiet, where it allowed me just to come back and anchor with myself. And
oh,
really, that is the essence of meditation, is just having this quiet time by yourself without any self-criticism, judgment, or over analyzing why,
mm,
just falling into that safe space and allowing ourselves to be still.
right.
Yeah.
So life is so busy,
Yes.
and
Yes.
how do you quieten your mind? Like I know I do have a meditation practice,
Yes.
but quietening your mind after a full busy day, that's
Yes.
like a true effort.
Yeah, it is. And I think the thought of that, I have 3 kids, a husband, a dog, a job, a busy life, like everyone probably listening goes, ugh, I
Yes.
can't do that. And for me, that really was a challenge. But the key thing was my meditation teacher, Johnny Pollard, at the time said it's really not about quieting the mind, even though I've said for me it is. That's
Yes.
something, a benefit I personally get out of it. It's almost about just letting the mind be. Just, you don't have to force yourself to quiet the mind. If it's still busy and it's still chattering, it is just processing what it needs to process. So it's really more like we're taking the foot off the accelerator and we're just becoming the really compassionate, gentle observer of our own mind. So, and if there's a chatter going, will we have salmon tonight or will we not? No, I haven't bought salmon. You know, this is what all of
Yes.
us think. But
That's right.
that's actually okay. It's not that, that's because our mind will just go, that's okay, without the self-critic. That's what we're taking out of the chat. Just, I'm going to show up and just be still or be present in this moment. I think the difficulty people often find with meditation is this probably outdated idea that I need to sit cross-legged, which I find incredibly uncomfortable for an extended period of time, focus on my breath and just be. And for most of us, this just is really too challenging.
Yeah.
So I often say to people, just start, you might sit in your car for 2 minutes before you head inside to the people in your house and sit with the radio off and the phone off for 2 minutes, even with the timer on, just and what that does is the mind will keep churning because that's how it works, but we just come back to base. And the more often we do it, the mind starts to pick up on those cues. Okay, we're sitting in the car. Well, this is a bit weird, to be honest, at first. Why aren't I running inside and getting the salmon on, for God's sake? Like, really?
That I haven't
And
bought yet.
that I haven't bought, and there's someone who's got really dirty footy boots on our front doorstep, and I haven't cleaned them, or I haven't told them to clean them.
Yeah.
That the next 2 minutes or 5 minutes doesn't matter because it's not going to change the outcome of anything. So just giving ourselves permission to just be in that moment, in that time, and letting the brain kind of like a filing cabinet just sort. It just needs time to sort, and we don't give it time to sort because we charge at everything, you know.
Yeah.
I often use the analogy, it's like cleaning your teeth. We're just giving the brain time to get the plaque off it. Whereas, if, you know, we just need to let it just kind of be without our action and reaction and action, which is really easy to say in theory. And I am under no illusion that in practice it's really hard, particularly if we throw heavy emotions on top of that. And often sadness and trauma or anger, which all these things that come up with grief, and often unexpected, all those emotions. And I think this is where meditation can be a really lovely tool to use in those times.
Yeah, because I know, you know, when you're alone, that's when the grief sort of is triggered.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, absolutely. And I think when we go through grief, and I lost both of my parents, one when I was 30, and then one about 6 months. I was dead about 6 months before I learnt meditation. But you go deep, you know, you go and you hold on to it and you smile and you get through the workday. And then for me personally, and then you come home and you fall apart, which is actually fine.
I know.
It's okay. And if the meditation ends up being 20 minutes where you sit in the bath and solve, hey, I think that's a really important part of it. So meditation can give you a sneaky key to your own grief, I think. If you are really kind to yourself in those really difficult times.
Yes. And that's the thing. I think that's what's missing is compassion.
Yes.
Slowing down. It's like
slowing down.
And slowing down and know that you have that 5 minutes. Because I always, you know, I say to my clients, you need to grieve. You need the grief and the patience to grieve.
The patience, yes.
Yeah.
And just showing up each day. And when Dad passed away, I learned, not by consciously, I started the meditation 6 months after that, which was
Yeah.
just completely coincidental. But on
Yeah.
reflection, it was the best thing ever,
Yeah.
because it was almost like the grief was a companion with me diving into this learning.
Yes.
It,
Yeah.
it came with me, and it felt like had this very structured way of honouring my grief. So this was not a conscious thing. It's only on reflection that I went, wow, that was a very different experience to me, holding on to emotions all day and then sobbing in quiet moments where I
Yes.
could find them. Of saying,
Yeah, that's
hey,
right.
I've got 20 minutes in the morning, I've got 20 minutes in the afternoon, and however I'm feeling, it's going to show up.
Yes, that's right.
And
Yeah.
that's what meditation can do for us. It can just kind of like a yucky sponge. We're just rinsing out all the gunk
Yeah. Yeah.
before we wipe it on the bench one more time.
That's right. Exactly. And that's what grief is, isn't
It
it,
is.
though?
And it's full
Yeah.
of crap, so much
Yeah.
crap that we
Yeah.
can't see, and we
Yeah.
don't even know that we're feeling that a lot of the time.
Yes, that's right.
And it is quite, I don't know, it often is quite an unexpected thing that we're carrying around with us, the depth of it, I think, anyway.
Yes. Yeah. It does. Yeah. And it's like, it's for the rest of your life as well.
Yes, it comes in. It's here
Yeah.
to stay. Yeah.
Yeah, because people don't recognize that grief is like there's before grief and then there's after. So, and that's the rest of your life, no matter how
Yes.
old you are,
Yeah.
you know, mum or dad or brother or sister or whoever has died 40, 50 years ago,
Yes.
and you're still missing them. Like there's always the missing. And
Always.
always, you want to tell that person, like coming home to no husband or no partner. It's like, oh, you're not there anymore.
Yes. Yeah. And I think grief is kind of like that unwelcome surpriser. It
Yeah,
pops up in like,
yeah,
oh, wow, that I
yeah,
didn't know I was going to think that. I didn't,
yeah.
that song wasn't going to take me, or a
Oh,
smell,
yeah,
smell,
yeah, that's right.
something that takes us right to the essence of our,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
makes us so human.
Yes, that's right. And grief is messy, like, and life is imperfect as well.
Absolutely. All
So,
of it is. It's all a
yeah,
shambles. That's why I
yeah.
had to have cupboards hiding everything behind me.
I need them.
But it is. And I think it's almost saying that's okay. Because
Yes.
without that rich tapestry, it's very
Yeah.
two-dimensional. And if we're trying to make it two-dimensional, whether it's our
Yeah.
grief of someone passing or grief of something else that's going on
Yeah.
for us, we need to kind of let it in. We need
Yes.
to let it kind of come into a space that we have not control of the emotions, but control of the safety of that space.
Yes. Yeah. And that's
Down in my home today where I'm safe, and whatever comes up, comes up.
yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing. I think people like to take control of their emotions.
Yes.
And I think meditation is a way to give yourself permission to have
Yeah.
those emotions, because sometimes you've got
Absolutely.
to, like, you're not in safe space and there'll be
Yes.
people there going, tell me what happened,
Oh,
and
yes.
it's
Yes.
like, oh,
Oh, and you'll be okay.
yeah, that's right.
Give
Yeah.
it 6 months. I'm like,
Yeah, exactly. I know. And,
oh,
like,
everyone's happy now.
oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. At the funeral's over, like, what's wrong with you?
What's wrong? You
So,
look good.
yeah, I know. You look great.
You look great.
Dealing with it
Yes.
so well. And I
Yes.
always, this is my pet peeve statement is, you are so strong.
Oh,
It's like, oh my
same.
God, yeah. I'm holding everything in and I want to yell at you right.
Yes, and I might punch you in a minute.
Yeah.
That's one of my my other pet peeve is,
Yeah.
at least,
Oh,
you don't this, or at
yeah.
least you've got that.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
That's
it
right.
doesn't work like that. The heart doesn't go, it's not a chocolate cake where we put
No.
in ingredients and substitute.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
So the benefits of meditation. It sounds so easy though, Liz.
I
Why?
know it is. It's easy. Not to
I
everyone. It is so
want to make it harder.
Stop trying to complicate it, everyone.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
essence, it is easy. And if we look back at the wisdom of whether it's the yogis or whether it's the
Mm.
monks or any culture, have done some sort of meditation, prayer, or rituals going back as far as we've got records,
Yeah.
where they sit, chant, whether they meditate, whether they pray, where they just go into being present. And
Yeah.
it's just, and I think we try to overcomplicate things and we over commercialize things.
Yeah.
And it's just, it is very simple. Our biggest challenge is our own inner dialogue of saying, yeah, but I don't have time. Or I didn't do that because I wasn't feeling like a Buddhist monk on a mountain.
Yes.
I didn't feel like I transcended and felt clarity and peace. Like you
Yeah.
might not.
Yes.
In that moment, your brain may still have kind of de-escalated internally and you may not feel amazing after every meditation. So it's setting our expectations a bit more realistically as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've heard that, and seen research on fMRIs where the brain's actually changed.
Oh, I love these.
Yeah.
They're amazing. And they did a study and they looked at, it was Buddhist monks, so I surprised you, but people who had been consistently meditating for at least 20 years. And the biggest difference they had was around the aging of the brain and around the brain matter. So for the 50-year-old monk, his brain looked very similar to a 25-year-old adult.
Oh, wow.
So extraordinarily positive sort of indications around our brain health, but also really interesting studies around our increase in serotonin and dopamine, which is around depression and anxiety. It really starts to even things out for us. And it also starts to increase our focus and our clarity. People who don't sleep well, if they start doing it consistently, will often have a really positive impact. Not always, because sleep can also be complex, but it can be a really nice thing to try. The key here is if you think of the monks, anyone who gets real benefit from meditation will do it consistently. Because we're really, it's like going to the gym. If you go to the gym once and go, well, I did the treadmill, which I did do, everyone. Only because Rosie, my daughter, made me. And oddly enough, after going 3 times, I wasn't fitter, I wasn't faster.
No.
Yeah, I know, you're shocked.
Yes, I know.
But if I hadn't kept going, I would have been fitter, I would have been faster, I would have got those benefits. And meditation is exactly the same, because we're really starting to try and teach our brain its way of de-escalating.
Yeah.
And just clearing things and turning off the centres that are flicking out fear all the time. Brain and in our amygdala. So it starts to just smooth things out for us. And our emotions, hopefully, it won't feel as up and down. It'll feel a little bit more even. That's probably the biggest sort of benefits from the studies that are continuing to come out all the time.
Yeah. Do they do studies on just normal everyday people as well?
Yes, they do.
Yeah, because I've only read the
do.
On,
and a really good person to look at is Sarah. She does a TED talk and she looked at the meditation of just control groups. And also, so there's lots of new studies that are looking just at ordinary people, not Tibetan monks who've done it consistently for 20 years, but just who've done it consistently for as little as 8 weeks and doing 10 minutes a day. That will actually start to give us positive benefits that are sustainable and traceable when we look at brain activity.
Yeah.
So, but no one did it once and then it came up. In the treadmill.
I would imagine. Yes.
Yeah. So
yeah, but 8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Really?
So 8 weeks and a minimum of 10 minutes.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So that's a nice. That seems doable.
Yes.
That seems like, well, if I can commit to this
Yeah.
for 10 minutes a day, I might actually see some really nice improvements in myself.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. And like, what is it? There's the habit forming thing. It's like that the research shows 66 days forms the habit now, not just 21.
Not 21. We've been told it was 21 for so long.
That's right. Yeah, but you need it for 66 days. So,
yeah.
it sort of fits.
It fits, exactly. And so some
Yeah.
tips around that for people is if they are going to try, I always say to people to do it, try and do a small practice at the same time, at the same place, because you're trying to train your brain to do something new, really. And
Yes.
so you want to clear away. It's not imperative, but it will just make it easier that you do it before your morning coffee, when the house is quiet, for your 10 minutes, where there isn't interruptions, whatever it might be. In, different houses run differently to different rhythms,
Yeah.
but trying to have some regularity about it, that also helps too, because we're quite clever. We quickly start to pick up on the cues that we are giving our own brain, that I sit here in this chair with this mug and then I'm working.
Yes.
I'm like, bang, I'm on. Sort
Yeah,
of thing.
that's right.
Whereas I
Exactly.
sit in a different chair in the morning without a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
close my eyes, my brain goes, oh, we're doing that now. Even the dog goes, oh, we're meditating, and she comes off at my feet, everybody without fail.
Yes, yeah.
So that, I have found that interesting, that she intuitively goes, meditation time.
Yeah.
As opposed to going, it's walk time, you're going to pat me.
Yes.
And yeah, so that's a nice thing to keep in mind if anyone who's thinking they've tried before and it didn't work. Doesn't mean it's not going to work again. I'll go to the gym again. I'll try that again.
That's right. I know. But I think people give up quickly
Very
because
quickly.
it's like, oh, I don't have time this morning. I've got to get up and do blah, blah, blah.
Yes,
So,
absolutely. And I think we have a very fast-paced society, and we've always got 100 other things to do. So that's definitely the challenge for people.
yes, yeah.
I often work with things that, like to map out where's the sneaky part in your day that you'll get the time. So for people with teenage kids, that they are going to be sitting in their car, waiting them, pick them up, waiting to take them to the next thing and the next thing. This is a big part of my life at the moment.
Yes.
It's been that. Is actually not knowing in your head, okay, I'm going to go 10 minutes early to basketball pickup. I'm going to put the alarm on my car. I'm going to lock the car. I'm going to park it somewhere nice.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually just going to sit there and not scroll and not chat. So that's one way. Sometimes that might be the only time someone might get to themselves in that day. So thinking a little bit creatively, where will I be able to get that time for at least the next 3 days running? Because if you're not going to get it 3 days running, it's not going to happen.
Yes,
Right?
yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
And you've got to, like, I find if I put things in my phone, they'll happen, and I've got to
Same.
be reminded. So
Yeah.
it's like, get up, the alarm goes off, then I go out into the backyard and sit on my chair and watch the sunrise.
Beautiful. Yes.
I'm getting the sunrise energy as well.
Yes. And all the benefits that come with that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And the dog sitting beside me. Oh, he's left me. He's
He's had enough.
he's had enough. He's probably just done his meditation.
He's done his meditation. He's done his 20 minutes.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Yes. And yeah, so he's sitting there in the sunrise, and it's just
Beautiful.
so I found that really difficult at first because I used to get up and go to the gym straight away.
Okay, yes.
Because that made me go to the gym, whether I
Yes.
like it or not. So now I get up and I watch the sunrise with the dog. Then I have my cup of tea. Then I go to the gym.
And then you go to the gym, yeah.
Yeah,
So it becomes just a not negotiable, doesn't it?
yeah.
That you actually don't have to think about it.
No, that's right.
It,
And
yeah.
also not thinking about sitting cross-legged and going,
Oh, no, I can't do it. I can sit like this, but I can't sit cross-legged.
That's right. So then tell me, I know there's different types of
Yes.
meditation. So what?
Yes, and I think this is a really important part because people need to choose what works for them and sometimes try a few different things. So, I mean, walking in nature is a form of meditation. So that can be as simple as that, is committing to doing that. Sitting in the sunshine or the sun rising is meditation. It's just that being present with oneself, with compassion and no judgment. It's meant to be easy. So that's a really nice way. In Japan, they call it tree bathing, I think, and it's prescribed by doctors for people who are experiencing depression. And it really is just going for a walk by the river or wherever you happen to be.
Yeah,
So
that's right.
it's a really powerful way of getting those the endorphins and the
Yeah.
serotonin, and just being with oneself and one's
Yeah.
emotions, however they are.
Mhm.
So that would be one. The other would be just mindfulness. So that might be just the sitting in the car and not rubbing, just being, with your own thoughts
Mhm.
and not just resisting that temptation, just being present for that moment. And that might be just gazing out the window. I kind of think mindfulness is now a fancy word for daydreaming.
Yeah.
We used to sit and watch the clouds go by.
I used to get in
Just
trouble with
daydream.
all yeah,
Just do it,
always in trouble. Yeah.
Same, just staring out the window. But
Yeah.
that's what I mean. That's a meditation of just
Yeah.
staring and
Oh,
just detaching from all the craziness around you.
yeah. Wow.
And then there's the guided meditations.
Mhm.
There's lots of apps where people can be guided through, whether it's a walk on the beach or whether it's specifically around grief. There's a lot of you put grief meditations, sleep meditations, anxiety into some of the better apps, I think, are Calm, Headspace, Smiley Minds, and Insight Timer, because
Yes.
they've all got a free portal and they're all evidence-based. So, but
I
I'll send
love
them through to
it.
you. So we love free.
Yes, yes. And Insight Timer. I do a lot of stuff on that, and I know
Yes.
you're on it as
Yeah,
well.
I am. That's right. I love it, but I'm not saying everyone has to listen to Insight
No,
Timer. But yeah.
no, but it's lovely listening to an Australian accent as well.
Oh, thank
But
you. Yes.
that's really calming as well. So yeah, it's really nice.
Oh, lovely. Thank
Mm.
you, Cait. And the other type is a mantra-based meditation. So
Right.
that's either the Vedic or the transcendental meditation, where people will use a mantra just to effortlessly, quietly just slow things down. So, and the idea of that mantra is to really hold the mind somewhere from going off busy, 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 keep coming back to the mantra. And then there's different breath work ones as well, but that sort of gives a bit of an overview of the different types. And
Yeah.
if someone hasn't tried anything, I'd say try them all. See what you
Yes.
like. You don't have to like whether it's yoga or Pilates, and because you've done one thing doesn't mean you might not like the other.
Yeah.
Another thing that can be really useful if someone is starting out is having a buddy or a few friends who are also on that journey, so that you share ideas and kind of keep each other accountable of how it's going. That can be really useful as well.
Yeah.
Give each other different ones that you've listened to on a little WhatsApp group or something. Can be
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's a good idea.
it just gives it a bit more energy, the way
Yeah.
that we'd approach our physical health, approaching
Yes.
it in the same way.
Well, that's right. Yeah. And it's when you're going through grief, it's sort of all about keeping to yourself and looking put together to
And
other.
it can feel very, very lonely, I think,
Yeah,
very
that's
lonely,
right. Yeah.
because you're right, it's looking good,
Yes.
looking
Yeah.
well, looking like I'm
Yeah.
coping, and you're
Yeah.
so
That's
strong,
right.
as you said, you're
Yeah,
so
that's
strong.
right. How are
So
you
at least you
today?
like your
Fine.
job.
Yep, that's
I'm
right.
going to go in the loose and I'm going to cry if you ask
Yeah,
me anything else. Yeah, but
exactly.
fine.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yes.
But also, like, if you're getting that sort of reaction from people, you could go off to, the loo and just sit there, I guess, could you? Or in a quiet place.
Absolutely. And this is what I often tell people, because I do a lot of work in workplaces, like the toilet is your best friend.
Yes.
Not just for the obvious reasons, but
Yes.
there's a closed door and no one's going to come in
Yeah.
unless you're in there for an hour. No one's even going to know that you removed yourself from your desk or your workplace or a social engagement where you can go in 2 or 3 minutes
Yes.
and just kind of pause and do some quiet breathing.
Yeah.
Just be still without having to kind of go, right, we'll pull together. It's like, no, I don't. I'm going to sit here. And the other thing I often tell people when they are in those situations is using your phone and put on your alarm 3 minutes. I'm going to stay here for 3 minutes. I'm not going to stress for 3 minutes. I'm not going to rush out, because 3 minutes is not a very long time to be missing from a table or a work meeting, or 5 minutes, so that you're not distracted just by the fact that you're missing.
Yeah.
I've got to go back to
Yeah,
that
that's right.
anxiety in itself. And that's really nice if you're someone who sometimes feels a bit anxious or overwhelmed or just sad, just with everyone. Go, little
Yeah.
alarm and just go into yourself.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's so good. Yeah.
So they're just a few. I'm trying to think if there's any other
Yes.
little, things.
Yeah. Any other things? Yes.
I think just for people to be really kind to themselves
Yeah.
and just really realize that it's a process. Grief and meditation isn't uh, like a silver bullet. It's not going to fix everything, but there's something else in your toolkit for you just to get out and, it may actually resonate and bring some, I suppose, some gentleness and some ease. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And seeing as, part of the benefits is calming
Yes. It's calming. It really
your
is.
brain, because and understanding, and it's like a non-judgment,
Yes.
non-judgmental thing for yourself.
It
And
really is.
yeah, don't take on others' thought pattern like, you should be through this, you should. And every
Oh,
time
yes.
you
You
hear you
should get
should,
over it. You
yeah,
should.
that's
You
right.
should.
Haven't you gotten over this yet?
Yes.
I hear that and I think, you know what? You need to have someone die and see how you're going to get over it.
Yes. Yeah. Because we never do, as you said, we
No,
just need to create spaces for us to honour our own grief. And I
yeah,
think that's what meditation can do. It can create
yeah,
another portal for us to just dive in,
yeah,
warts and all, to whatever emotion is coming up and
yeah.
hold that space.
Yes, that's right. Yes. I think it's a beautiful way to be. And all the different sorts of meditations that you have said, that there's different things that you can try
Yes.
and just
Yes, there
drop
is.
in on different things, see
Yeah,
what works for you.
absolutely.
Be okay with
Um,
that as well.
absolutely.
You know,
Yes,
we're
yeah,
all different. We
absolutely.
really are. So, yeah.
Yeah, and always to have some fun with it. I think my final thing be people overanalyze their meditation.
Yes.
I'm going to be, so I did this. I'm like, I don't know. I don't need to know. The
That's
idea
right.
is that you are in yourself,
Yeah.
just lightened, detached.
Mm.
So we almost want to go, oh, I'm good at it. Oh, I'm not good at it. And people always say, I'm no good at it. I'm like,
Yes.
how can you be bad at it?
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? It's
Exactly.
like you cannot be bad at this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be my key thing. It is simple.
Yeah.
You need to approach it with that
Yeah.
intention of
'Cause-
just
Yeah.
showing up. Yeah.
Well, that's right. I've got a Japanese friend, and she was out here once, and I just started meditation with my yoga practice as well.
Lovely. Yes.
And overnight, and I've been sleeping really well.
Oh,
And I
wonderful.
said, "Oh, I do meditation in the morning and night." And she said, "What do you mean?" And I went, "Well, my meditation, like I have this time and that time." And she went, "Meditation is for all time." So
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
what we need to be more like that, don't
right,
we?
yeah. Because she says, I sit behind the wheel in traffic, in bad traffic, and I meditate, and it just goes so quickly. And I used to think, oh my goodness, how can you sit in that traffic with horns going and,
Yes.
in Japan?
I
And
know, right? I'm with you.
yeah, it's like, oh, well, I'm running late for this, but they're not thinking I'm running late. Like,
No, our
yeah,
culture is very get there, get there, get there.
yeah,
Yes,
that's right. Yeah. So, slowing down is so important, and
it is.
especially in grief, I think.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. And it's just really giving yourself permission to just lean into it, I think.
Yes.
And this
Yeah.
becomes a portal to lean right in and sort of gently, move with it.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting. I think, I'm really pleased that you clarified what meditation is,
Oh,
because it's like sitting with yourself.
it is. It's just sitting with
And
yourself. And
yeah,
even on the good, the bad days, the busy days,
yeah.
all those things, it's still
Yeah.
just sitting on.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. So, Liz, how can people, like, do people work with you one on one, or what happens?
So yes, so people work with me one-on-one, or I work with organisations and groups. So all my information is like on Instagram, LinkedIn, or on the website Calm at Work. And on Calm at Work, there is a little list of free resources there for the Insight Timer, meditations. If people want to have a listen to those, they're very, very welcome to
Yeah.
jump on and have a listen to those. Yeah.
Lovely. Oh, lovely. It's been so wonderful speaking with
Oh,
you.
same. I think we could chat all day.
Yes.
But we best not.
I
Then we'll be falling asleep, not meditating.
know. Well, after this now, I think we need to go off and meditate.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone who's, taken the time to sort of tune in and listen.
Yeah,
That's
thanks.
such a
Thanks.
privilege. So,
Yeah, thanks, Liz.
thank you.